Part 31. Transformed into a comic book artist. Author, Miao by Shen Wu. Chapter 314. Susienner didn't know if the era of animated movies would come. She only knew that except for the morning, she slept very comfortably. As a result, when she woke up and looked at the time, it was already 1 or 2 o'clock at noon. After walking around the house, Susienner was depressed and found that no one was there. After the phone call, I found out that Lin Jingshu and the three of them had gone to watch a movie. Wang Ximen stopped playing games with her in the past 2 days, saying that her boyfriend returned and responded to her messages, so she had to be gentle with him. So in the past few days, Wang Ximen has sent her dozens of messages every day, and her clinginess has been through the roof. Especially when your name was released, this guy cried, made trouble, and hung himself to watch the movie with her. What can Susienner say? She could only say that she had already watched Your Name, and she would never watch it a second time no matter what movie it was. She had to persuade Wang Ximen to give up. Susienner felt that if things continued like this, they would be exposed sooner or later, and it was necessary to operate on 2 fronts. No matter how much I thought about it, there was nothing I could do, so I simply gave it up. And since Lin Jingshu and the other 2 went to the cinema to watch Your Name several times, she naturally went downstairs to find something to eat. When she got downstairs, Susienner's eyes widened. She saw the guy named Bai Shui sitting on the dining table eating pudding again. No. Where did you come in from? Susienner felt very strange. Could this little white-haired girl have supernatural powers? You must know that the door is locked, and the other party does not have the key. Snow White pointed to the backyard while eating pudding. Susienner went over to take a look, and couldn't help but twitch the corner of her mouth. The other party actually got through the gap in the backyard. Isn't this a dog hole? She didn't care about the other party. Anyway, the little girl lived next door, and she didn't bother to ask the other party's identity. This guy came to eat pudding every day, and several girls were used to it. After heating up the food, Susienner also sat at the dining table. But before she even picked up her chopsticks, she heard the sound of her cell phone ringing. Again. However, Susienner suddenly had an idea, looked at Bai Shui, handed the phone to the other party, pointed at the phone, "You pick it up for me." This Sanwu little loli usually doesn't talk much, but she seems to be the most suitable to answer the phone. Bai Shui didn't refuse, and clicked the answer button, then clicked speakerphone again, put the phone on the table, and continued eating pudding. "Teacher Miaobi, I knew you were awake at this time." Chen Rui had obviously mastered Susienner's schedule and called him immediately. Seeing that Susienner didn't speak, he was not surprised and smiled heartily. He said bluntly, "It's like this. Fans of Mr. Miaobi online have been urging you to participate in the comic exhibition. Your Name has achieved great success, and Tencent Animation will hold a Holy Land tour in the next 2 days. By then the box office is expected to increase sharply again. You can't make excuses not to attend this time. Tickets for the comic show are now sold out. If you don't go, be careful of being criticized by fans." Susienner's face turned dark. She didn't expect Bai Shui to turn on the speakerphone and angrily said, "Little guy, I think you should not call Bai Shui from now on, but Bai Suejia. If you change this name, you will be beaten to death sooner or later." "Ah. Teacher Miaobi, what did you say?" "It's okay, I will attend the Comic Con." "That's good. Teacher Miaobi, please post it on Weibo. Your fans are making a fuss." Chen Rui suddenly thought of something. "By the way, Teacher Miaobi, do you remember that there is a Princess Knight group on the internet?" When she mentioned this, Susienner said angrily, "Of course I know that a group of boring guys will be eliminated sooner or later as a cult." Chen Rui coughed slightly and said awkwardly, "It's like this. The head of the Knights has contacted Station B and hopes to meet you. Teacher Miaobi, I think you should agree. There are more than 20 people in this Princess Knights. Thousands of people and such a huge number of fans are of immeasurable value. Moreover, Chen Rui knew that there were many big guys in the business world, second-generation officials and second-generation rich people, and they were still idle organizations. If Susiener posted a message on Weibo acknowledging the existence of the Night Princess group, then the cohesiveness of this fan base will be overwhelming. No matter what purpose those business bosses had in joining the Knights, since they had entered, they were members of the Knights and they all loved Susiener. And Susiener is like a core, she is the one who brings these people together. Many big guys in the business world are even surprised to find that many second generation and big guys who have never met before are because they are members of the Knights. Everyone is very friendly. Some people even have good cooperation in reality because they are all members of the group. The Knights are like a safe channel, forming a unique virtuous cycle of development. There are various small circles, such as business circles, second-generation circles, anchor circles, etc. This makes Chen Rui scared and envious. This is simply amazing. But Susiener has never recognized this organization, which is very regrettable. Chen Rui tried to use Sujug's identity to take over more than once, but it didn't work at all. Although the people in the Knights also recognized Sujug's existence, they liked Susiener more because they fell in love with Susiener because of Susiener. Jugs, this is the essential difference. Susiener laughed dryly, forget it. Are you really going to admit it and then retire at the end of the month? Isn't this just a joke? Chen Rui had no choice but to say, okay, I will go back and talk to the group leader, but I still suggest that Mr. Miyobi, even if you don't meet, you should send a Weibo to admit it, and you can't let your fans down. As he said, he didn't say any more, for fear that Susiener would be disgusted, and then said, by the way, Teacher Miyobi, please give me your address, and I will send you the cosplay clothes. The clothes have been improved than last time. It's even more exquisite and the materials are very high-end. I believe you will like it, Mr. Miyobi. The corner of Susiener's mouth twitched. I know. Then she reported the address and hung up the phone, saving the other party from thinking about something again, which was simply annoying. It's finally time to eat. Susiener breathed a sigh of relief, but she was very hungry. As a result, before eating, she saw Bai Shui looking straight at her and touching her tender face. Susiener said confusedly, what's wrong? Bai Suejia, sounds nice. Bai Shui pointed to herself, Bai Suejia. Puff. Fortunately, Susiener hadn't eaten, otherwise she would have had to squirt out, and then she was overjoyed and said, do you really think it sounds good? Bai Shui nodded seriously, Bai Suejia, sounds good. Although the other person was expressionless, Susiener could feel the other person's liking. Child, if you were in another world, you would be beaten to death. Fortunately, there is no white album in this world, otherwise you would be in danger. Then I will call you Bai Suejia from now on. Hearing this, Bai Shui nodded seriously, Bai Suejia. Susiener gave the other party a thumbs up, saying nothing. Miyobi, make money. I am so tired of updating. I am mainly busy with practical matters. In addition, the number of words has reached 700,000, and I feel a sense of mental fatigue. I don't have the passion as before when typing every day, and I feel numb. It is impossible for a eunuch to be a eunuch, and there is also a saying that the eunuch will be unfinished if the little fairy retires. How is that possible? If you want to retire, first ask if you are willing to do it. Transformed into a comic book artist. Author, Miao Bai Shengwu. Chapter 315. The end of the month is coming soon. Tomorrow is the time to attend the Yanjing comic exhibition, and these days the internet is full of news about the comic exhibition and your name. A few days ago, Tencent Animation held a Holy Land Tour event, which shocked the country. As long as you hold the movie ticket and repost it on Tencent Weibo, you can participate in the lottery with the ticket. When the movie is drawn, Tencent Animation will specially arrange personnel to take these 300 fans to the real Lingtown. Visit holy places. This is the Holy Land Tour, a huge event that Tencent Animation has recently warmed up. After posting this Weibo message, several photos accompanied it. Fans can see that the original photo posted by the original poster has been transformed. Tencent Animation is very concerned and cautious about transforming Lingtown into a tourist destination, because only by maintaining the natural and authentic scenery can it be worthwhile to visit. The direction of their changes was completely towards changing the scenes of the animated movie. You must know that the town in the animated movie was recreated from the prototype of Lingtown, and some places are indeed different. So a lot needs to be changed, and the changes they made are undoubtedly satisfying. When Tencent Animation compared the scenes of the animated movie with real-life references, people found that even the vegetation was too similar, but this time they no longer doubted it. After all, Tencent Animation had already said that in order to keep the film's internal system in check, realistically, they have worked hard, so stay tuned. Fans are extremely enthusiastic, and the box office of Your Name is also rising steadily, which is staggering. At the end of the month, it exceeded 5 billion within half a month, which scared me to death. Everyone in the entertainment industry was shocked. Some big guys have already begun to develop animated movies. Some pure love cartoonists are extremely popular at this moment. You must know that Your Name is a pure love movie, adapted from a comic book. This shows that the audience is very receptive to pure love. As long as the story is fresh, they still want to take advantage of the popularity. While the major film and television companies are in turmoil, a group of lonely fans on Weibo are eagerly looking forward to the arrival of the end of the month. Because Susiener posted on Weibo a few days ago that she would come to the Yanjing comic exhibition at the end of the month as scheduled and would definitely not let go. So all the tickets for the Comic-Con have been sold out, and now it's hard to get a ticket, and some people are even scolding scalpers and reporters. Creatures like scalpers are born to give away their biological mothers, but as a reporter, if you have some qualifications, you can interview Teacher Miyobi as long as you stay outside. Could Teacher Miyobi still be able to fly away? As a result, these reporters used various channels to obtain tickets for the comic show, which made fans furious and complained on Susiener's Weibo. Surprisingly, fans who originally had no hope found that Susiener actually stood up for them and directly criticized the organizers of the comic exhibition on Weibo for their actions. Then they saw the official Weibo of the organizer apologize directly, and then opened the comic exhibition ticket sales again, which suddenly made fans feel like they were in a dream. Teacher Miyobi stood up for us. This sentence resounded throughout every fan group, making many people cry bitterly. After being a fan of Teacher Miyobi for a year, Susiener has only stood up for them once. It's not easy. Simply a miracle. Of course, many discerning people also know that the Comic-Con is selling tickets again because the organizer obviously wants to make some money, but they can only admit it with pinched noses. However, they must not know that the reason why Susiener stood up for them was because she was about to announce her retirement after participating in the Comic-Con. She had a guilty conscience, so seeing the fans being wronged, she naturally stormed the Comic-Con in anger. The organizer was scolded. Susiener only hopes that when she retires, fans can say hello to me and everyone, and watch her withdraw from the act circle with enthusiasm and understanding. So today, Susiener plans to wear the costume sent by Station B and give some benefits to fans. Now many people on Weibo want to see her cosplay. I agree. Isn't it just cosplay? What's this? Anyway, Station B just asked her to cosplay and promote Beautiful Girl Wanhu a mirror. Station B sent a silver white wig, and I don't know what it was made of. The wig Susiener felt smooth and soft, and it also had a pair of small vampire fangs, followed by 2 sets of costumes. One set is Wu Ji's school uniform in the game, and the other is the other party's gorgeous black palace dress. When the two sets of clothes were mailed over, before Susianer even looked at them, she saw Lin Jingshu, Wang Ximen, and Xiana Yueying looking at the two sets of clothes and looking at her with sparkling eyes. "Classmate Su, why don't you put it on and try it on now?" Lin Jingshu looked at Susianer eagerly, her eyes emitting a strange light. "I also think, Mr. Miyobi, let's see what you wear." Wang Ximen looked forward to it. Although Yui Sakura Shiana next to her didn't speak, her eyes said everything. How beautiful Susianer would be in this outfit. She couldn't imagine it anymore. "Goodbye, anyway, tomorrow is the comic exhibition, and it will be the same if I wear it then." Susianer laughed dryly. Although she is a girl now, this kind of clothing is women's clothing to her. She doesn't want to be a cross-dressing boss, a creature that was often ridiculed on the internet in the past. You must know that in time traveled, she dressed in very unisex clothes. Lin Jingshu was too lazy to complain. Wang Ximen and Xiana Yueying were speechless after living with her for more than 10 days. What kind of girl doesn't wear women's clothes? Thinking of this, the three of them looked at each other, and after exchanging glances for a while, Lin Jingshu directly bullied her. However, how could Susianer, who had already discovered something wrong, be captured by the other party? As a result, after dodging, Wang Ximen directly hugged her. Okay, I'll wear it. Isn't it okay if I wear it?" Susianer glared at the three people hatefully. She knew that she would definitely not be able to do it in a 1v3 situation. She was petite and Lin Jingshu could subdue her. Alas, how great it would be if I could cultivate immortality, practice martial arts, and awaken superpowers. Then I can directly train these guys into RBQ. With unrealistic ideas, Susianer was taken to the room by Lin Jingshu and the other two. "Can you go out first? You won't let me change clothes in front of you, right?" Susianer was speechless. When she heard that Wang Ximen and Xiana Yueying realized it, she smiled embarrassedly and was about to go out. As a result, they saw Lin Jingshu motionless, and Susianer also found out, and her pretty face twitched. "You guys go out, I'll monitor her." Lin Jingshu knew Susianer's character very well. She knew that if they went out, this guy might just lock the door and never come out. Wang Ximen and Xiana Yui Sakura suddenly realized and went into the room again. "You are so cruel." Susianer wanted to cry but had no tears. Her little thoughts were exposed by Lin Jingshu. She felt ashamed. She didn't expect Jingshu to know her so well. She was really ashamed. As a result, she saw Wang Ximen and Xiana Yui Sakura coming in again, and said weakly, "Why did you come in again?" "We also want to see you change clothes," Wang Ximen and Xiana Yui Sakura said in unison, especially Xiana Yui Sakura's voice trembling with excitement. Psychopath. Recommend a novel written by a book friend. There is a useless angel in my house, Gabriel fanfiction. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Transformed into a comic book artist. Author, Miao by Shen Wu. Chapter 316. Taiwan Novel Network Rightward Arrow. In the end, Wang Ximen and Xiana Yueying were kicked out. Only Lin Jingshu watched Susianer undress and put on clothes in order to prevent Susianer from locking the door. Although they were both girls, Susianer regarded herself as a man and only let Lin Jingshu watch her naked body. Anyway, the other party had seen through her when he was in Magic City, and so had she. After all, we all took a shower together, so taking off our clothes was just a trivial matter. Although Yui Sakura Shiana was envious, she could only hide it secretly in her heart. She had no choice but to say that Lin Jingshu was Susianer's best friend. She only hoped that as time went by, Susianer could accept her. This dilly-dally lasted for half an hour. But Wang Ximen and Xiana Yueying were not anxious, but were even more looking forward to it. Wang Ximen had nothing to do, so time was wasted. Anyway, he admired teacher Miyobi so much. And Yui Sakura Xiana felt that it would be fine to let her wait for a few days or nights. Just as the two of them were expecting, the door opened. Lin Jingshu was the first to come out, with a strange brilliance in her eyes, an indescribable sense of amazement. Seeing this, Wang Ximen and Xiana Yueying looked inside the door, but could not see Susienner's shadow. The next moment, they suddenly saw Susienner holding the door, hiding behind her body, revealing a small head, and asked sarcastically, "How is it?" When she first put on the white silk stockings, the silky feel gave her goosebumps. It felt like a man's physical and mental challenge, but after putting it on, she was fine. "You should show your body," Wang Ximen and Xiana Yueying said in unison. Although Susienner only showed one head, her silver white hair naturally fell down, which made the two of them feel itchy, especially all the time. Susienner, who had black hair and didn't comb it very much, suddenly saw that the other person's hair was neat and smooth, which made the two of them feel a sense of urgency. They really wanted to see what the complete Susienner looked like now. Hearing this, Susienner breathed a sigh of relief, then stood up slowly, holding the edge of her skirt with her little hands, with a shy look on her face. "How are you?" The two of them gasped. At this time, Susienner gave people a feeling of dizziness. She has long silver white hair tied into long twin ponytails, with two black bows tied at the base of the ponytails. At this time, Susienner's head was slightly lowered, her face was rosy, and her eyes were filled with shyness. He was wearing a school uniform. Although it was this type of uniform in high school, Station B had obviously changed it a bit. The white inner shirt was wrapped in a beige school uniform, and there was a bow made of a red ribbon at the neckline. The entire school uniform is beige in color, supplemented by black lines. It is simple but exquisite, giving Susienner, who has always been decadent, a lively student temperament. On the lower body is a gray linear short skirt with a white flower at the end. Looking down, you can see white stockings, wrapping Susienner's delicate and tight legs, reaching to the thighs. The short skirt and white an absolute realm is formed between the threads, which makes people want to find out. You must know that white silk stockings are something that most girls can't stand, because wearing them will make your legs look fat. Usually only little girls or people with excellent figures wear them, but I didn't expect that Susienner, a petite person, would wear them. But it's very harmonious. In other words, the white silk stockings seem to be tailor-made for each other, making people forget to leave. Is that so? Susienner took a few steps on her brown leather shoes. In her previous life, Wu Ji seemed to have been wearing black stockings, but Susienner preferred white stockings, so she changed them, but she didn't expect any harm. "Own. I can't breathe." Wang Ximen opened her mouth and looked at Susienner with loving eyes. And Yui Sakura Xiana said nothing, covering her heart, breathing rapidly. Seeing the two people being so exaggerated, Susienner coughed lightly and felt very embarrassed. "Is it really beautiful?" Wang Ximen and Yui Sakura Xiana nodded quickly. At this moment, Lin Jingshu, who was standing next to her, also joined in the nodding, and then said, "Student Su, please try to be cute." Pretending to be cute? No way. Susienner had black streaks all over her head. Wearing this dress was already the limit. How could she still act cute? Is it the kind of thing where you can imitate a kitten's meow? Lin Jingshu looked expectant. You wave your hand and then imitate a meow. Hearing this, Susienner suddenly thought of the anime she had watched before, and tentatively raised her hand and scratched the air. Meow. I was just about to ask how this is. But she saw that Lin Jingshu had already picked up her phone and took a photo of her with a calm look on her face. "Teacher Miyobi, I'm going to bend." Wang Ximen also covered her heart at this time. "I'm so cute." Yui Sakura Xiana was even more exaggerated. She covered her heart and was about to fall straight to the ground. If Wang Ziman next to her hadn't reacted very quickly, she would have fallen to the ground. "Are you okay?" The three of them were startled. "It's okay, I just feel that all the blood in my body is rushing up, and I feel a little unwell." Yui Sakura Shiina gasped, and then looked at Susiana expectantly. "Student Su, were you wearing blue and white just now?" That's right, it was at home anyway, and Susiana didn't wear safety pants. Sure enough, she saw it right. She caught a glimpse of it when Susiana stepped forward to help her the moment she fell. So happy. For a moment, Yui Sakura Shiina felt wrapped in something called happiness. Everyone couldn't help but breathe a sigh of relief when they saw that Shiina Yuiying was fine. Then Lin Jingshu suddenly thought of something. "By the way, have you put on those two little vampire fangs?" Hearing this, Susiana knew that if she didn't complete the cosplay today, she probably wouldn't be able to play the game. Thinking about it, she opened her mouth and put on the little vampire fangs. And Shiina Yui looked at the pink tongue so close, staring at it intently. "I really want to lick it." Fortunately, Susiana put it on in a short time, otherwise it's hard to say whether Shiina Yui could hold it back. Susiana put on the fangs, but she didn't look scary at all, but instead made the three people cute again. Lin Jingshu took another photo and nodded with satisfaction. "Let's go, classmate Su, post this photo on Weibo, post it and tell fans that you will wear this outfit to the comic exhibition tomorrow." After hearing this, Susiana looked at Lin Jingshu suspiciously. "Jingshu, are you hiding something from me?" Sister Chen Shui said that Station B asked you to warm up for the comic exhibition, but they knew they couldn't convince you, so they found her, and she also knew they couldn't convince you, so she found me. Seeing Susiana staring, Lin Jingshu snorted, "I think it's not bad. Think about how pitiful your fans are. I've been following you for a year, but you don't even have small benefits like Weibo lucky draws. You're going to retire at the end of the month. I think it's always right to be nice to fans." In fact, she felt that Susiana couldn't retire at all. How could so many fans agree? Susiana thought about it and felt it was good. Okay, give some benefits to fans before retiring. Transformed into a comic book artist. Author, Miao by Shen Wu. Chapter 317. When many people were discussing tomorrow's comic exhibition and the recent Your Name pilgrimage, Susiana quietly posted a picture of herself on Weibo, which was a cosplay picture that Lin Jingshu had just taken for her. However, she thought she was doing it quietly, but she didn't know that the picture would explode on the internet as soon as it was released. In an instant, in just 10 seconds, this Weibo post was forwarded more than 8,000 times, and it became 50,000 in the blink of an eye after refreshing. In 2 minutes, it was directly ranked first in the hot search. Susiana and the other three friends were all stunned. Taiwanese novel website Rightward Arrow Smoke GW. "Oh my god, what did I see? Is this Miobi teacher? Which character is this cosplay? So beautiful and delicate. Damn, it seems that Miobi teacher didn't use beauty and skin smoothing filters. Miobi teacher without makeup is so beautiful. These legs, face, and breasts, skip the breasts, the rest are awesome. Get lost upstairs, Miobi Teacher Breast Protection Association is here." Almost instantly, this photo made fans scream. This is the first time Miobi Teacher posted a selfie, and it was a cosplay. It's so cute. Of course, they soon discovered what Susiana posted. "I'll wear this to the comic convention tomorrow, what do you think?" 10,000 likes. Countless likes. "Teacher Miobi must wear this to the comic convention tomorrow. No more to say, just buy a tent quietly and set up camp at the entrance of the comic convention tonight." Is this a fan benefit? Really? Really? It's not easy, it's not easy. Teacher Miobi was exposed, so she gave fans benefits, crying with joy. Does teacher Miobi have more? Post a few more. You've already put on the outfit, are you only going to take one? The exaggerated remarks of the fans made Susiener and the others ashamed, but it also showed that this cos photo was very successful. When Lin Jingshu saw the last sentence, she felt it made a lot of sense, and then took Susiener to take a few more photos, and then posted them all on Weibo. The photos made the fans scream, there was no way, how mysterious was Susiener before? No one knew what Susiener looked like, and now that she was exposed, the degree of attracting fans is simply skyrocketing. Of course, many people are guessing which character Miobi teacher is cosplaying, because they have never seen it. Then, Bilibili Weibo took the opportunity to post a picture and interact with Susiener. This picture is Wazi. When fans saw this picture and Susiener's cosplay, they were shocked. Are you sure they are not the same person? Oh my god. Damn, I used to want to vomit when someone said that a person came from the second dimension, because it was derogatory. Now, is Miobi teacher really from the second dimension? It's exactly the same. I was just wondering why Miobi teacher was expressionless and cold all the time. Is it that the girl in the picture has this kind of personality? No, the more I look at Miobi teacher, the cuter she is. I really want to marry Miobi teacher. As soon as the comparison picture appeared, everyone could hardly tell whether it was real or the second dimension, they were too similar. Just one picture set off the internet, which made everyone feel that Miobi teacher is worthy of being the princess of the comics world. It's so cool. Zhao Jing even called and asked Susiener if she wanted to cosplay Sanyi or Penguin Girl. Of course there will be salary and compensation, and it will definitely not be low. Before she finished speaking, Susiener verbally drove her away. The other party had asked her to cosplay Sanyi before, and she refused and still came to her door. When Chen Rui called, he was even more excited and told her that the comic exhibition in Yanjing was originally going to last for 2 days, but because of the past few days, they planned to last for about 5 days. Chen Rui was very excited, and Susiener was very upset, but after thinking about it, she decided to forget it. Anyway, she was going to retire, so she should bear it for a while. For this reason, many fans were so excited that they couldn't sleep. In addition, the comic exhibition lasted for up to 5 days, which made them celebrate. As a result, some portal websites actually went to the entrance of the comic exhibition when they were online, and they actually found that some people were actually planning to wait there all night. And there were quite a few people. The interviewer counted the number of people and found that there were nearly 100 people. In the end, they found that more people came one after another and were ready to stay overnight to watch Miobi teacher. This news was released at night, shocking many real stars. You know, this is the patent of these real stars. People who become famous on the internet do not have such a big appeal in reality, because the people who become famous on the internet, the people who like each other are all netizens. Most people will not be so crazy about chasing stars. This is also the reason why the identity of real stars cannot be surpassed by anchors and others. There is really a fundamental difference in popularity. As a result, Susiener is so loved now. Asada Sayori did not have any emotions. This little guy was born to be liked by people. It was foreseeable that she would have such popularity. It was just that the kings and queens before were self-righteous and thought that although Susiener had a lot of fans, she was only popular on the internet and there was no need to worry. Now that this news came out, they were shocked. Many entertainment companies have bitter faces. They want to sign Susiener and promote her, but does she need them to promote her? Susiener's current popularity is at the level of a little queen. If it increases, she will be a queen. So no company can afford to promote Susiener, and even the companies that have been paying attention to Susiener before can only give up. Of course, many companies are considering that since Susiener's popularity is so amazing now, they can cooperate with her, For example, let her endorse. In fact, many companies have come to them, and some are even expensive cosmetics companies. They think Susienner is simply a natural beauty. The other party without makeup is actually more beautiful than some beauty filters or even PS it's amazing. However, they naturally returned with nothing. Chen Rui and Zhao Jing thought these people were crazy. Does Miyobi teacher need to endorse Gigi? Don't you even look at other people's worth? Moreover, Miyobi teacher of your name invested nearly a quarter of the money. When the time comes to divide the money, the other party will definitely be the youngest billionaire, and this is the other party's own money. Chen Rui even thought that if he had a daughter in the future, she must be as smart as Miyobi teacher. Otherwise, he would have a psychological gap if his children were too stupid after seeing how evil Miyobi teacher was. Zhao Jing looked at his children and could only sigh silently. They hoped that their children would be half as evil as Susienner when they grew up, and they would be satisfied. In this sleepless night, the sun shone, the next day arrived. And at 8 o'clock this morning, it was the day when the comic exhibition was open. Many chapters have been blocked and can't be changed, especially the chapter of the live kiss, how to change it. Transformed into a comic book artist. Author, Miao by Shen Wu. Chapter 318. The next day, it was around 7 in the morning, close to 8. What time is it? 7:43. After a while. What time is it? 7:44. What? Go away, can you stop asking so many times in 1 minute? There are still more than 10 minutes to 8, and even if you can enter at 8, I don't know when teacher Miyobi will show up. Outside the Yanjing Dimension Festival comic exhibition, countless people have gathered, as densely packed as sardines. In the country and even the world, comic exhibitions are not as grand as this. Before Susienner traveled through time, comic exhibitions were just niche activities, and the organizers of each comic exhibition were in a loss-making state. But there was no way, the country wanted to develop the act circle, saying that a comic exhibition must be held every once in a while. And the cost at each comic exhibition is basically the characters in the game, and no one cares about the characters in comics and animations. This situation is the same in all provinces and regions, and Yanjing is no exception. Since Susienner gradually promoted the act circle last year, comic exhibitions have been held more and more, because many businessmen who smelled business opportunities felt that the era of act might be coming. So they naturally took a fancy to this piece of cake, and comic exhibitions are an activity that can greatly promote independent products. Games, comics, fan works, animations, etc., can all be paid attention to. Especially fan works. Today, the person in charge of the comic exhibition saw the situation and couldn't help but be shocked. Although countless people on the internet said that they would come even if they didn't have tickets, they were well prepared, but they were still terrified by Susienner's appeal. The person in charge had no doubt that if it was just an ordinary comic exhibition, the total number of people at the comic exhibition might not be 1/10 of the current number, or even less. And now the number of people outside is gradually increasing. If this continues, the number of people will soon overflow to the road, and it will cause traffic jams at that time, which will be terrible. Looking at the time, it was a few minutes before 8 o'clock. The person in charge was considering whether to let people in early. The area inside the venue was still very empty. Although many companies had their own counters, many of them were very small. The largest venue is Bilibili, followed by Tencent Comics, and then MiHoYo. The comic exhibition of the Dimension Festival has been half successful. Just when the person in charge was hesitating, he received a call. What? Arrived. Okay, I'll be there right away. After saying that, he hung up the phone and said to the staff next to him, open on time at 8 o'clock. No problem. Although the staff was curious, they didn't ask more. What he didn't know was that Susiener had already arrived and was in the VIP channel at this time, because many fans had blocked the back door, which was terrible. It's so scary, Lin Jingshu patted her chest. Fortunately, those fans didn't notice them, otherwise they probably wouldn't let them in. So I said, I don't want to expose my identity, it's terrible. Susiener was also in shock, but fortunately, she took the internal elevator from the underground parking lot to the inside of the comic exhibition, and now she is waiting for others to pick them up in the VIP channel. Wang Ximen and Shianayui Sakura nodded beside her. Even if she was the daughter of the world's richest man, she didn't have such popularity. When she went out shopping, people looked at her because she was beautiful. Mr. Miyobi, there is no impenetrable wall in the world. I find it incredible that you can hide it for a year, Chen Rui said with a smile. He arrived in Yanjing yesterday and ran to the school to pick up people early in the morning. When they drove out, they saw many reporters waiting at the school gate. Luckily Susiener let him into the school, otherwise he would have been delayed for a long time at the school gate. Suddenly, a hearty laugh came from afar. Mr. Miyobi, long time no see. Several people looked and saw that it was Zhao Jing. Chen Rui came forward to say hello, and then Zhao Jing came to Susiener and asked, Miyobi teacher, are you really not going to cosplay Sanyi? Susiener's pretty face twitched. This guy still didn't give up. She glanced at him, no way. Also, what are you, the editor-in-chief, doing here at a comic exhibition? Zhao Jing coughed lightly and pointed at Chen Rui. Mr. Chen is here, so what's so strange about me coming here? Chen Rui smiled awkwardly. Indeed, his identity should not appear here. Generally, the activities of major companies at comic exhibitions are all staff sent by the company. As for the chairman of the company coming to the comic exhibition? Is this a joke? I'm here to be Miyobi teacher's driver. Susiener and others were speechless when they heard this. However, Zhao Jing and Chen Rui knew that this comic exhibition might be the most popular one since the comic exhibition appeared. The reason is very simple. Last year and this year were the fastest and most prosperous years in the comic circle. Various categories of comics emerged in an endless stream, and the styles were also varied. This already had the flavor of 100 schools of thought. Zhao Jing came here mainly to persuade Susiener to cos Sanyi. Anyway, the comic exhibition lasts for 5 days, and B Station can't always occupy Susiener, that would be too much. Of course, the secondary reason is to look for cartoonists. You know, many novice cartoonists and some people who like to draw comics don't publish them on the website. They choose to promote themselves at the comic exhibition. However, there is no need to talk about the previous comic exhibitions. Many doujin cartoonists came to the Yanjing Dimension Festival this time. Some used connections, some used backdoors, and they all wanted a place of their own. Then they showed their comics, hoping to be seen by teacher Miyobi and then be accepted as comic assistants. That's right, many cartoonists and even well-known cartoonists want to be Miyobi's comic assistants, and this comic exhibition is an opportunity. Of course, there are too many people at this comic exhibition, and many people also want to become famous. Of course, it would be even better if they could get the favor of teacher Miyobi. This is what many people think. While they were chatting, the person in charge had come up to them. Seeing Susiener, his eyes lit up, and then his face was full of smiles. He had to smile, because it was the other party who made this comic exhibition so prosperous. If he made the other party unhappy and the other party left, he would probably be in trouble. The other party's fans could drown him with a mouthful of spit. Mr. Miyobi, hello. The person in charge came forward and greeted Susiener, then saw the people standing and greeted them one by one. The more he looked, the more surprised he was. Why did all these big guys come? It's just a comic exhibition. But thinking of Susiener's identity, he understood. This comic exhibition is so grand that many companies have sent their management staff here, for fear of mistakes, and then the news will be leaked online and ridiculed by netizens. In addition, there are more people at this comic exhibition, so it is natural to treat it with caution. After all, this comic exhibition is so popular, it is simply the first time in history. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Transformed into a comic book artist. Author, Miao by Shen Wu. Chapter 319. As soon as 8 o'clock arrived, the gate of the comic exhibition venue opened. In other words, the gate had already been opened. It was just a matter of time. No one from outside was let in. Now that the time has come, naturally we can no longer let these people wait outside, and the queue of people coming to the comic exhibition has almost reached the middle of the road. If we don't open the door again, it will cause traffic problems. When the restrictions were lifted, impatient fans who had been waiting for a long time crowded directly into the comic exhibition. Everyone, slow down, don't be in a hurry. Be careful, there won't be a stampede. Please line up and enter in an orderly manner from a single column. Don't crowd. Please keep a distance of half a meter to reduce risks. The security guards at the comic show started working under the scorching summer sun in the morning. Many security guards feel that in the past, working at comic exhibitions was really worry-free, but now this situation is really nerve-wracking. Fortunately, the organizer had predicted the popularity of the venue in advance, so there were several entrances for these crazy fans to line up to enter. In addition, many people also knew that a stampede in large numbers was dangerous, so they entered the venue in an orderly manner. The comic exhibition is held on the first floor, while the second floor is a forbidden area. At this time, Susiener was looking down from the window on the second floor. Her eyes were in disbelief. The scene now seemed like the prototype of the CM comic exhibition in the island country. Of course, it's just a prototype. Moreover, the venue for this comic exhibition is still too small. With such a small number of people queuing up right away, it is obviously not a professional comic exhibition venue. Of course, if the comic exhibition is to be as enthusiastic as the CM comic exhibition in the island country, the ACT circle must develop for a few more years. Fortunately, the country has developed the ACT circle. Susiener believes that this day will definitely come. Aren't you going down? Lin Jingshu stood aside and looked down curiously, taking a breath. There are so many people. Although she had a guess, there were too many people at the scene, and there were still more people arriving one after another. Coming over, Lin Jingshu was stunned by the black trend. I'll go down later. Chen Rui had already told her that it was not appropriate for her to show up at the beginning. After all, she was the finale, but she really wanted to hide on the second floor and not go down for the rest of her life. It was simply too scary. Thinking about it, she looked around. Where are Ximen and Yueying? Yu Sakura was dragged to play Honkai Impact 3. Many people started preparing to occupy a space at this comic expo when Susiener posted an announcement on Weibo, saying that the box office of Your Name reached 200 million on the first day. Position, because with the quality of Your Name, the premiere box office will definitely exceed 200 million, after all, the number of people in China is there. Among them, Wang Ximen is like this. Although MiHoYo is now Susiener's company and the contract has been signed, Susiener just took it as a joke. If Wang Ximen wants to go back, she will definitely pay it back. Therefore, although Wang Ximen is only the company's planner, he still has the right to make decisions. Therefore, Bang 3 will have a relatively large exhibition space at this comic exhibition, as well as game trials. After all, this broken game will be in public beta. Wang Ximen naturally wanted more people to play this game, so he pulled Yue Ying along. Yue Sakura Shiina wanted to stay with Susiener, but she couldn't resist Wang Zimen, so she could only look at Susiener pitifully before being pulled away. It made Susiener feel like she had been entered. Should we run away? Looking at the number of people below, Susiener's scalp went numb, and a bad idea came to her mind. As soon as she spoke, Lin Jingshu held her hand, squinted at her, and hummed, "Why do you think I'm following you?" Feeling the touch of the two balls on her arms, Susiener sighed and said, "Jingshu, you have grown again in 1 year, and Nunozi has grown bigger again." Ouch! After being hit on the head, Susiener covered her head. Seeing Lin Jingshu staring at her fiercely, her face turned slightly red. "What are you talking about, vulgar? Anyway, there's no one here." Susiener sighed, "I'm going to have a cos later, and it makes me a little uncomfortable to think about being looked at by those geeks. This body is her own, how can she be tainted by other people's eyes?" When Lin Jingshu heard this, she asked with interest, "Do you want me to come with you? Are there any other characters in your Beautiful Girl One Who a Mirror?" Apparently Lin Jingshu didn't know that Beautiful Girl One Who a Mirror is a little butter, otherwise I probably wouldn't have made this suggestion. Forget it, Station B will definitely not think of your temporary idea. Teacher Miobi, who said this? We have specially made Lian Hua's clothes. I originally wanted you to try it on, but if Teacher Jingshu wants to wear it, Station B will naturally support it with both hands. Chen Rui's voice came from the side. He was startled when he didn't see Susiener just now. When he learned that Susiener had gone to the second floor to get some fresh air, he came upstairs. He thought Susiener had run away. That's right, in their hearts, Susiener is so unscrupulous. Can I wear it? Lin Jingshu's eyes lit up when she heard this. It was obvious that she still had a natural affinity for cos when Station B was not yet famous. She was already a up owner, so she was naturally influenced by AK. Wear it? When I hold a book signing later, you can stand aside and fan me. Although there is central air conditioning in the comic exhibition, there are too many people, so the atmosphere is still stuffy. Susiener did not change most of the scenes in Beautiful Girl One Who a Mirror. She originally wanted to change Lian Hua's kimono into Hanfu, but after thinking about it, the ethnic integration has become so great that it would be so troublesome to change it. You didn't come up here to make sure I didn't run away, right? Ahem, Chen Rui was choked by Susiener's sudden words. He smiled awkwardly and said, Teacher Miobi, the booth at Station B is very busy right now. Everyone is here for you. Do you want to go up and give me a fight? Hello? By the way, many people still call it Pure Land, but they don't know what it is. Pure Land of Bliss. Susiener was startled and rolled her eyes. She didn't expect these people to still remember. It's a pity, if the team in the LPL division doesn't win the global championship, it's impossible for her to be able to dance. By the way, there are also your fans. The general leaders are also here. Do you want to meet them? Obviously Chen Rui has not given up on this fan group and wants to develop it. Anyway, Susiener is so lazy, she will probably leave this fan group to Station B to take care of it. Although Susiener was heartless, as soon as Chen Rui said it, she knew what the other party was going to do. She snorted coldly, don't even think about it. I'm going to hide at the end of the month. As soon as the words came out of her mouth, Susiener stopped abruptly and patted her chest, almost revealing that she was going to retire. What do you want to hide? Chen Rui asked curiously. It's nothing. Jingshu and I went down to change clothes and get ready to start the autograph session. Susiener coughed lightly, pulled Lin Jingshu and ran away. Beautiful Girl One Who a Mirror is the world's first little butter, and for this world, it can be said to be the pinnacle of graphics. She is looking forward to everyone's reaction. Wow! More than 10 chapters have been blocked. Kk. What's going on? How to fix it? What to do? Transformed into a comic book artist. Author, Miao by Shen Wu. Chapter 321. Soon, Susienner changed her clothes. In order to prevent Susienner from coming and looking her up and down, after Susienner changed her clothes, Lin Jingshu was already standing next to Susienner with a smile on her face. With a twitch in her cheek, Susienner looked at Lin Jingshu, who had changed her clothes, and couldn't help but nodded. Yes, Jingshu, your beauty is already 5/5, 1/100 of mine, and more. Well. Before she finished speaking, Susienner covered her head and saw Lin Jingshu staring at her fiercely. Let's go, your fans are still waiting for your autograph. It seems that her time-delaying method has been discovered. Susienner sighed and followed Lin Jingshu out of the changing room. As soon as she came out, Susienner shivered. Lin Jingshu felt a little shy for the first time at this moment, because all the staff at Station B were staring at the two of them. Although Lin Jingshu used to cosplay from time to time, she has not cosplayed for more than a year because of her senior year in high school. So I'm still a little uncomfortable with being stared at today. Even Lin Jingshu, a pure girl, couldn't adapt, let alone Susienner. She could feel countless aggressive eyes focused on her, and those eyes were about to see right through her. What are you looking at? Don't you have to work anymore? In the end, Susienner couldn't bear it anymore, and she glared, revealing two small vampire fangs, and said fiercely. She is the major shareholder of Bilibili. These people are all her employees and their wages will be deducted carefully. However, Susienner didn't know that she had no lethality at all. On the contrary, it increased the cuteness, making Lin Jingshu next to her a little unable to control herself. Teacher Miyobi, a gentle voice came from the side, and Susienner shuddered. At first glance, it was Xiao Qin, the receptionist at Station B, who left a psychological shadow on her. Susienner subconsciously wanted to stay away from each other, but Xiao Qin came up and directly took the hands of Susienner and Lin Jingshu, with a smile on her face. Let's go, it starts in 10 minutes. The fans outside are waiting looking after you. Teacher Miyobi, if you don't go out, those fans won't even buy the peripherals. Xiao Qin urged. There was no way they originally wanted Susienner to come out after a day or two to engage in hunger marketing, but those fans didn't buy it at all. Not touching any of the peripheral products, Chen Rui had no choice but to let Susienner come on stage first. You know, the booth of Station B was almost surrounded by fans, but nothing could be sold. Wouldn't this make it a laughing stock in the future? Now there is an urgent need for Susienner to come to the rescue. Why is Station B so useless? Susienner said speechlessly. Rui Chao has been abolished, and now the immortal Chao is in charge, Xiao Qin said nonchalantly. When other staff members heard this, they pretended not to hear. But in my heart, I very much agree with this statement. You must know that Susienner's fans have already sorted out what Susienner has done this year, and then they discovered that Station B was a nameless station in the past. Because of Susienner's reasons, its traffic increased by an unknown number of times. In addition, the act circle was raised several levels because of Susienner. Changes in painting styles and changes in the comic industry promoted the rectification of the animation circle. In the end, many comic circles regarded Susienner as their teacher, and some well-known cartoonists even took the initiative to come to Bilibili for cooperation. The ever-changing painting styles in the comic circle have also promoted the different painting styles of animations, leaving many people who like act wondering what they have done to Susienner. And Xianxiao was also blown up. Chen Rui also knew about this, but there was no way. Station B would not be able to get up without Susienner, so Xianxiao would be Xianxiao. Hearing this, Susienner was speechless. She also surfs the internet, so she naturally knows the current trend of Weibo and Taiba. Sister Xiao, if we don't hurry up, the fans are going to make trouble. Suddenly a head popped out from the door. Then the young man saw Susienner and his eyes lit up. Teacher Miyobi, hurry up, it's your time to appear. Upon hearing this, Xiao Qin couldn't help but urge, Teacher Miyobi, if you don't go out, the booth will probably be overturned. I know, by the way, do you have a fan? Susienner looked at Lin Jingshu beside her with a teasing smile. The maid next to me is going to fan me later. Lin Jingshu couldn't just stand there and do nothing, that would be so embarrassing. Hearing this, Lin Jingshu couldn't help but glare at Susienner, but she didn't refuse. Anyway, the comic exhibition will be held for several days, so Susienner can't hold autograph sessions all the time, and then drag Susienner to go shopping together. Of course, she didn't leave Susienner's side because she was afraid that the other party would suddenly give up. Others might not be like this, but Susienner was very likely. She didn't want the comic exhibition to be in chaos again because of Susienner's matter. Lin Jingshu hadn't attended a comic exhibition for a long time, so naturally she wanted to have a good time. While Xiao Qin was looking for a fan, Susienner came to the door, glanced outside through the crack in the door, and then subconsciously said, "I'll go." This room is just a small simple building room and the exhibition stand are connected together. Susienner looked outside and immediately saw the number of people outside. Just as Xiao Qin said, the people under the booth simply wiped out all the people at the comic show. She looked into the distance and found that many companies' small booths had no people at all. Station B's booth is the largest at this comic show, but even so, people outside were surrounded by 3 circles inside and 3 outside, and the staff at Station B were letting the fans and audience line up in an orderly manner at this time. After all, they have been notified that Susienner will hold a book signing later. Everyone, please be patient. Teacher Miyobi is changing clothes. Please wait. Don't worry, it will be done soon. It will take a little longer for girls to change clothes. You guys, don't think about making trouble all the time. Teacher Miyobi must be very shy when she meets everyone for the first time. Besides, it's cosplay. Can't you wait a little longer? Well, reporters consciously stand in the back row. Teacher Miyobi doesn't accept interviews. She said that if she is asked to interview, she will go back to school directly. The last sentence made many fans look at these reporters with guns and cannons. Teacher Miyobi, I found a fan just when Susienner was peeking. Xiao Qin had already found a fan. The fan was not big or small, but it was relatively light and made of silk. It felt light in her hand. After all, Lin Jingshu was not a female man, and who knew when the book signing would end without any notice. Seeing Lin Jingshu pick up the fan, Susienner felt much more relaxed. Letting her go on stage alone would be a public execution. This is no different from a shameful play, but now with Lin Jingshu, she is much more relaxed. Thinking of this, Susienner directly took Lin Jingshu's hand, then took a deep breath, stepped out, and went out directly. As soon as she went out, the sound of clicking continued, and the flash almost blinded Susienner. Obviously, the reporter reacted immediately and took pictures directly. And the fans stared at Susienner and Lin Jingshu with big eyes. They felt, they were captured in an instant. If there is no second chapter before midnight in the morning, there is no need to wait. Transformed into a comic book artist. Author, Miao by Sheng Wu. Chapter 322. Chapter 311. A person named Pink Lips and another person named Jade Lips are fighting. Taiwan Novel Network. Rightward arrow. Clang clang clang, everyone, I'm on the air on time. Did you miss me? A girl in gorgeous clothes was obviously cosplaying. The character she played was not a character in the comics drawn by Susienner. After all, as a host, Su Xian did some research and knew that this comic exhibition would definitely be full of characters in comics created or indirectly created by Miyobi teacher, such as Book of Life and Death, Food Wars, Shokuji no Soma, and Your Name. So in order to highlight herself, Su Xian naturally couldn't take the usual path. The gorgeous clothes she wore were a luxurious piece of clothing from Miracle Nikki, but obviously, there were also a large number of people who thought the same as her. But the most were Mitsuhami Amizu. After all, your name was still in theaters, and many people had already watched the movie and made contributions to your name. And this comic exhibition was Susiener's home court. Or they contributed to the box office in exchange for the appearance of Teacher Myobi, so naturally many people played the roles in Teacher Myobi's works. Susien even saw the King of Hell in Book of Life and Death, but the material of the costume was not delicate and the plastic feeling was serious, which disappointed her. Where is Teacher Myobi? I want to see Teacher Myobi. Go away. You are blocking me from seeing Teacher Myobi. As soon as it was broadcast, it was extremely disappointing. Alas, Xiao Xianxian, you disappoint us too much. The anxiety of waiting for the broadcast, the surprise at the moment of broadcasting and the disappointment now, alas, Xiao Xianxian, you should leave the group. Yesterday, Su Xian said in her fan group that she would live broadcast at the comic exhibition. At that time, she would definitely line up to find Teacher Myobi for an autograph. Of course, she would broadcast live to everyone. After all, many people could not come to the comic exhibition, and many people were far away from Yanjing. Su Xian looked at the barrage and said expressionlessly, "Where is the housing manager? Don't let any of them go." Of course, she knew that everyone was joking. Then Su Xian walked and stopped, rushing towards the B station booth while live streaming, or she didn't need to look for it specifically, just followed the crowd and came to the B station booth. At a glance, Su Xian knew that there was no place to go today. Wow! So many people, it's a good thing I didn't go. Are you sure you didn't go because you didn't buy a ticket? Xiao Xianxian. Behind you, behind you. Xiao Xianxian, right, what did I see? One of my 3 views of women and children has been refreshed. Left. Not above, underground. Su Xian lined up, looking at the B station staff on both sides to maintain order, and for a while forgot that she was live streaming, just subconsciously holding up her mobile phone. After all, it was not easy to bring the selfie stick now, it would be bad to block people. However, while queuing, she heard the staff say that it would take a few minutes for the Myobi teacher she was looking forward to come out, which made her realize that she was still live streaming. As a result, when she looked at her phone, all the comments were telling her to look back. As for those above, below, and underground, she ignored them all. Su Xian followed the comments and looked back, and she almost screamed. So big. As soon as she turned around, her eyes were focused on the chest of the girl in front of her. This was simply a chest that could not be described in words. Hello. Yunlan saw the strange girl holding a mobile phone in front of her, and turned around to look at her chest, and she couldn't help stuttering. Hello. Su Xian also stuttered, and then reacted, staring at Yunlan in amazement. This chest made her feel inferior. If it could be weighed, wouldn't it be 4 or 5 kilograms? This chest, I think it's okay. Totally several K. Sure enough, the universe is full of protons, neutrons, electrons, and females. According to my own visual observation, this female definitely weighs 3 kilograms. Su Xian looked at the barrage and suddenly realized that the phone was still photographing her chest. She moved the phone aside, leaving the barrage to mourn. Sorry, I was just live streaming. Su Xian scratched her head and said embarrassedly, the barrage said there was something behind, so I turned around out of curiosity. When Yunlan heard this, she didn't say anything, and her face flushed directly. Because of her chest, she usually doesn't go to crowded places. This time, she mustered up a lot of courage to come to this comic exhibition. When she saw Susiener on the internet that she was the teacher of Myobi, she took several days to recover. Then she thought of the time when she and Susiener were taking a hot spring bath together. Susiener asked her if she was a comic assistant, and what if the teacher of Myobi asked her to draw a little yellow book. At that time, She didn't answer. Now she is here. Naturally, she has made up her mind. Of course, she wanted to be Susiener's comic assistant, but that depended on the other party's answer. And this time, she came to the comic exhibition to exercise her courage. How could she become the comic assistant of teacher Miobi if she couldn't even go to crowded places? Unexpectedly, she met a host now. Didn't her breasts just now appear on camera? Thinking of this, her whole head was about to smoke. Hey, don't be shy. Su Xian slapped her head and secretly scolded herself for being too talkative. After that, Su Xian kept talking to Yunlan for no reason, for fear that the other party would think too much. Fortunately, Yunlan was kind-hearted and didn't blame the other party. As Su Xian talked, the two became familiar with each other. Fortunately, there is air conditioning, otherwise it would be hot to death with so many people. It's okay. Yunlan pointed at Su Xian's phone and asked nervously, "Are you still live streaming?" "Yes, of course I won't take pictures of you." Su Xian smiled. Just as the two were talking, exclamations suddenly came from all directions. Su Xian and Yunlan seemed to feel something, and looked up at the top of the booth, and they couldn't help but be stunned. Although they had seen the photos on Weibo, they were stunned when they actually saw the person. Yunlan was better, because she had bathed with Susiener before. But Su Xian was not so. She was actually like many people, thinking that Susiener had used beauty filters when taking photos, so her skin was like white jade. Although some people explained that it was not true, who knows if it is true or not without seeing it with their own eyes. But now, although it is far away, when Susiener appeared, Su Xian knew that she was wrong. Very wrong. Susiener is so cute. As for makeup, beauty, filtering, skin smoothing, etc., there is no such thing. The photos on Weibo are Susiener without makeup. My god. As girls, they are like this, not to mention boys. But those reporters reacted very quickly. When Susiener and Lin Jingshu came out together, they started to take pictures directly. The light was so bright that it dazzled their eyes. "Be careful!" Suddenly, Yunlan beside Su Xian screamed, because she saw someone squeezed forward and touched the decoration next to the booth. The decoration was touched and rolled directly under Susiener's feet. Others heard the sound and couldn't help shouting. Teacher Miobi, be careful with your feet. Don't fall." But now Susiener's eyes were full of light, almost blinding, and she was already very noisy after her appearance. She didn't hear it at all. Then, she stepped. "Be careful!" Lin Jingshu's scream suddenly came from behind. Susiener was still confused, and then she felt that her body was about to fall to the ground uncontrollably, and her hand subconsciously grabbed. Lin Jingshu looked and was scared. She wanted to help Susiener up, but she was pulled by the other person's hand. She lost her balance and was pulled down together. Susiener fell to the ground, and her first thought was, "It's over, I won't be exposed." Even if she was wearing safety pants under her short skirt, she didn't want to show this benefit to others. The next moment, just as she was about to get up, she felt a soft and cold touch, and she licked it subconsciously. It was so soft. Then she opened her eyes and saw Lin Jingshu staring at her. The two were very close. Kissing. The audience under the booth was stunned when they saw this. Will it not be blocked? QVQ. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Transformed into a comic book artist. Author, Miao by Sheng Wu. Chapter 323. Lin Jingshu was completely confused. She just wanted to hold Susiener, but because she was wearing a kimono, she was still a little uncomfortable. As a result, she fell to the ground after being pulled by Susiener. Unexpectedly, such a scene appeared. Feeling the touch from her pink lips, the cold and soft feeling, before Lin Jingshu could react, she suddenly felt something soft and tender licking her. Lin Jingshu stared at Susienur, and her breathing was a little rapid because of this sudden licking. Her heart suddenly beat rapidly, and an indescribable feeling spread throughout her body. Just when she was about to get up in panic, she found that a small hand was holding her side, and because the small hand was extremely hidden, the audience could not see it at all. With a glare, Lin Jingshu knew that the small hand belonged to Susienur, and she was being held, and she couldn't get up for a while. Seeing Lin Jingshu staring at her, Susienur blinked innocently. It was not easy to take advantage of Lin Jingshu, so she naturally didn't want to let it go. As for whether it was in public, she didn't care. Anyway, it was just a coincidence. Indeed, when this scene appeared, many people stared in amazement. Even if the two did not move for a long time, they thought that Susienur and Lin Jingshu were confused by the sudden fall. And the first to react were the reporters. This scene made them extremely excited. They picked up the camera and took pictures, and the sound was endless. The staff next to them were also stunned, but they also reacted when they heard the sound and hurried forward. "Miobi, are you okay? Miobi, Jingshu, are you hurt? Why are you still standing there? Call an ambulance quickly." Hearing that they were going to call an ambulance, Susienur couldn't help but feel ashamed. It's really that serious. The booth was covered with a layer of carpet, soft. Even if she fell, she wouldn't be injured at all. Susienur seemed to have just reacted after hearing the sound. She pushed Lin Jingshu with both hands, and then saw Xiao Qin had already stepped forward and pulled them up. "Mr. Miobi, Mr. Jingshu, you are not injured, are you?" Xiao Qin looked anxious, and even squatted down to check Susienur's knees. After all, Susienur was wearing a short skirt now. Although she was wearing white stockings, if she bumped into something, wouldn't it leave scars? And when Lin Jingshu fell just now, she was still on Susienur. It was estimated that if she was injured, Susienur would definitely be the most seriously injured. This sudden accident made Xiao Qin blame herself. Chen Rui knew that she was very familiar with Mr. Miobi, so he asked her to be in charge of today's affairs. Unexpectedly, such a mistake occurred. "It's okay." Susienur didn't dare to look at Lin Jingshu at this time, and laughed. "This carpet is soft, so it's not a big deal to fall." "Really? Teacher Miobi, how do you feel now?" Xiao Qin's question was also of concern to the audience under the booth. Just now, they saw Susienur fall to the ground and then pulled Lin Jingshu, but she fell hard. Of course it's true. As for the feeling, Susienur licked her lips subconsciously when she heard it. It tastes like grass. This action and answer made many people stunned. Then they reacted, the taste of grass. The next moment, everyone looked at Lin Jingshu in unison. At this time, Lin Jingshu's face was flushed. Being surrounded by so many people, she felt dizzy and her eyes flickered. She was still thinking about the scene just now. She wanted to get up, but Susienur pulled her, and she could even feel the strangeness on the other's lips at that time. This made her feel confused, and Susienur was still acting weird at this time. After glaring at Susienur, Lin Jingshu looked at the audience in the booth who were all looking at her playfully, and she couldn't help but feel ashamed and angry. She felt that if she stayed any longer, she would be watched to death, so Lin Jingshu ran back to the room, at least to recover. But after running for a while, perhaps because she was in a hurry, or perhaps because she was really not used to running in a kimono, she accidentally stumbled and said "ah," and fell to the ground with a thud. Puff! Susienur couldn't help laughing. Of course, she knew how soft the carpet was. Even if Lin Jingshu pressed on her just now, she didn't feel any pain. Now Lin Jingshu probably wouldn't be in any trouble if she fell. "I can't take it anymore. Miobi and Jingshu are so cute. I'm dying of laughter. Falling on the ground is amazing. She is indeed a beautiful girl from the second dimension, and her falling on the ground is amazing. If it weren't for the expressions on the staff's faces, I would have thought it was an act. Lin Jingshu was so ashamed and angry, she slowly got up, picked up the fan next to her, and then lowered her head and walked into the room silently. When Susianer saw that Lin Jingshu had already entered the room, she ran into the room without waiting for Xiao Qin to speak, leaving Xiao Qin stunned. What should I do about this autograph session? Fortunately, after Susianer entered the door, she seemed to have thought of this. She poked her head to look at the audience and reporters under the booth, and said with the help of the headset, "Well, I'll be back in half an hour." This poking scene was also captured by the reporter. When Susianer and Lin Jingshu disappeared, the reporters directly sent the photos to the magazine or editorial office. They knew that although this was big news, there was a large crowd of spectators nearby, and they probably had already posted the photos online. And the reporters were right. Nowadays, with mobile phones in hand, everything spreads very quickly, not to mention that there are many anchors among these viewers. In addition to Su Xian, there are several other anchors under the booth. They are all fans of Susianer, and they all came to ask for autographs. Of course, there is also the game disc of Beautiful Girl Kaleidoscope. When the time comes, they can live broadcast this game to their fans in the first place. Isn't it wonderful? At this time, on Weibo, #LilyIsInfinite hashtag has been directly on the headlines. And Susianer was pressed down by Lin Jingshu, and the moment when the two kissed was completely spread all over the internet, which made people stunned. This Miobi teacher is actually a lesbian. Ignorance. According to the news on the scene, this is completely a coincidence. But I think it's very strange. Generally speaking, girls don't feel anything when they kiss unexpectedly, just like the previous live broadcast of the kiss of the devil. But you see that since teacher Jingshu got up, her face has been very red, and her eyes have been blurred. Is she reminiscing? Maybe teacher Jingshu is a lesbian. Damn, you are really good at bragging. Why can't I see that teacher Jingshu's eyes are blurred? By the way, you are surrounded and kissing with the same sex, aren't you shy? No. As a boy, I feel disgusted. Boy add 1, disgusting add 1. Sure enough, lesbian is the best. Anyway, I can't marry teacher Miobi, so why don't teacher Miobi and teacher Jingshu be lesbian? With this sentence, a large number of Weibo fans actually started to match Susianer and Lin Jingshu together, which made many people who eat melons stunned. Transformed into a comic book artist. Author, Miao Bai Shengwu. Chapter 324. Half an hour later, Susianer came out again. And this time, Susianer's little face did not show any emotion, but was a little happy. Writing here, I hope readers will remember our domain name Taiwan Novel Network rightward arrow diamondsuit. Lin Jingshu in the room was a little gnashing her teeth. These reporters and fans really can't make trouble without a fuss. But she can't do anything about it. Both of them knew about what happened on Weibo. Or rather, Lin Jingshu picked up her phone to check it out as soon as she entered the room. Sure enough, in this short period of time, it caused a lot of uproar. And the fans' booing was absolutely unscrupulous. Even some media who were completely unaware of it were influenced by the #1 hot search on Weibo and directly put up such a headline on their own portal website. Miobi teacher and Jingshu teacher are actually lesbians, and it started a year ago. Susianer and Lin Jingshu are simply a match made in heaven. Teacher Miobi and teacher Jingshu's 1 year of love. According to the ratio of men to women in China, a pair of lesbian girls will give birth to 2 singles. Lin Jingshu wanted to hit someone after reading it, and wasn't the last title nonsense? However, what made her flustered was that she didn't dislike these titles at all. Instead, she was afraid that Susianer would misunderstand her, so she wanted to explain. As a result, seeing Susianer's frivolous smile, she knew that the other party didn't take it to heart. While she was relieved, she was a little complicated. And the reason why this time was so boiling, in addition to the attractive title, the kissing photo was the key. But this is normal, but it made Lin Jingshu very nervous. You know, when she fell just now, Susiener grabbed her and didn't let her get up, but there was no photo on the internet, which eased her worries. But, this also made Lin Jingshu start to have some wild thoughts. What did Susiener mean just now? In an instant, Lin Jingshu was confused. No matter what Susiener meant, as soon as this happened, the comic exhibition, which was already popular, was almost watched by the entire network. Many anchors came to the Yanjing comic exhibition and wanted to broadcast some of the comic exhibition to their fans first, but because of what happened just now, they ran over with their mobile phones and broadcast live to their fans. Suddenly, the people queuing outside expanded again. Zhao Jing on the side was extremely envious, but there was nothing he could do. This comic exhibition was the home of B Station. Although Tencent had the animated film Your Name to attract many people, everyone's main purpose was to see Susiener. So when Susiener came out again, the display stand was already surrounded. Looking down from above, the people queuing in front were almost endless, which made Susiener stunned. As for Lin Jingshu, she didn't have the face to come out again, so she hid in the room directly. When Susien came out again, she said embarrassedly, "I was late for half an hour." Jingshu was too shy to come out as she said that. She walked towards the center of the display stand. As she walked, she looked at the ground from time to time, which made the reporters and fans below laugh. When Susiener sat in the middle of the display stand, she was very uncomfortable and kept her legs together. But, even so, she could still feel many people's eyes on her skirt. "Damn, how hungry are you? Wearing safety pants and still looking." Susiener obviously didn't know how attractive her cosplay was. Because she fell to the ground just now, no one paid much attention. What about now? Everyone focused their attention on Susiener, who was wearing a beige school uniform skirt. Her long silver hair was tied into two slender ponytails with an exquisite black bow. Her pair of sea blue gemstone-like eyes were like the boundless ocean. She blinked slightly and had a cute temperament, quirky. Although she was petite, she was lovable. White stockings wrapped around thin legs. When looking at them, there was a heart-pounding sense of guilt. When looking away, I couldn't help but want to find out. When Susiener sat down, she subconsciously closed her legs, which made the fans and reporters under the display stand swallow their saliva. This was a completely subconscious action. But, this action made Susiener's heart hum. She stood up directly, smiled awkwardly, and then asked Xiao Qin to come over, lowered her head and whispered, "Can you not sign on the display stand? I'm almost naked." Although it is a benefit for fans, benefits are not given out like this. And she is a man at heart. Being stared at by a man, and the aggressive gaze is so strong that her shame is about to explode. Wearing a short skirt and sitting on a high place, in the fanfiction, this will definitely be killed by someone with a sword. Xiao Qin listened and observed for a while, and asked the staff to remove the display stand. Of course, because the noise was so loud, fans' cooperation was needed, and the reporters didn't dare to take photos at random at this time. There was no other way. Susiener just couldn't adapt to the lights and fell down. When Susiener stood on the ground, she couldn't help but breathe a sigh of relief. Then she sat down again. Although there were still those eyes, these people could only see her thin legs in white silk stockings when they were standing. Then Xiao Qin took the microphone next to Susiener, smiled slightly and said, "Hello everyone, today is the first day of the comic exhibition. Station B originally wanted teacher Miyobi to make the finale. But the fans were too enthusiastic, and Miyobi the teacher also felt that we could not keep everyone waiting, so this time he came out in advance to hold a book signing. In addition to getting the autograph of teacher Miyobi, this time he also received the latest game Beautiful Girl developed by Bilibili for free. One Who a Mirror, Limited to 200 copies. As for the game content, I will not disclose it. This is a game supervised by Teacher Miyobi, and now Teacher Miyobi is also the heroine in the cosplay game, which is Teacher Miyobi. I think everyone is looking forward to it. While Xiaoqin was talking, he didn't notice that Susiener's face turned dark. This is Little Butter. The heroine is the one who attacks me. Obviously Xiaoqin didn't know the content of the game at all, otherwise he wouldn't have said this. Naturally, those reporters and fans didn't know much about it, but they were extremely interested in the game. After all, this was a game produced under the supervision of Mr. Miyobi, so they definitely had to play it. After all, Teacher Miyobi has never let them down. Then, I won't say any more nonsense. I believe everyone can't wait. Now, the autograph session will begin. As soon as Xiaoqin finished speaking, the girl who was first in line came to Susiener excitedly. Looking at the teacher she admired, Miyobi, she held back her words for a long time. Teacher Miyobi, please sign your name for me. Just sign this comic. Susiener showed infinite tolerance to the girl. In addition, the girl was wearing a 2233 t-shirt, the phone case was Sujug, and the comic she handed over was Your Name bought at the Tencent booth. A true die-hard fan. Good. With Susiener's voice, today's comic exhibition reached its climax. How to cure laziness. If the protagonist retreats and ends with flowers, will he be killed? Apart from being lazy, many chapters have been blocked and I have no intention of coding anymore.